Most people aren't trapped by reality. They're trapped by stories. Stories they've repeated to themselves so often that they can mistake them for the truth. Hi, I'm Dr. Jo Messenger. Thanks for tuning in. In this video, let's discuss the 7 common lies that potentially keep people stuck in unhealthy relationships, poor health, financial stress, low self-worth, and unfulfilled dreams, and how to break free from them. What if the biggest obstacle in your life isn't your ex, isn't your boss, isn't your bank balance, your childhood, or your current circumstances? What if the biggest obstacle is a story? Maybe a story that you've repeated so often, so many times, that you have mistaken it for the truth. Today, let's cover the 7 lies that keep otherwise intelligent people, otherwise capable, good-hearted people stuck. Not because they're stupid, not because they're weak, not because of a whole bunch of things, but because these lies are socially acceptable, and some of them they're even praised. Lie number 1: this is just who I am. No, it isn't. It may be who you've practiced being, but it isn't who you actually are, and there's a huge difference. Some people say things like, I'm anxious, I'm shy, I'm angry, I'm unlucky, I'm this, I'm that, I'm not good with money, I'm just not disciplined, or whatever else. Those aren't identities, they're patterns. And patterns can be changed. Neuroscience shows that the brain changes throughout life. It shows us that the person you repeatedly practice being becomes your personality. And the good news is you can practice being, you can practice becoming some other version of yourself. You can practice becoming whomever and whatever version of yourself that you choose to practice. Lie number 2 is, it's too late. Really? You know how old I am, right? Too late compared to whom? Colonel Sanders started KFC for better or worse in his 60s. Grandparents go back to university. People find love after divorce. People start businesses after redundancy. Not recover after devastating illnesses. And the truth is not that it's too late. The truth is usually, I'm scared it won't work. I'm scared I'll be embarrassed, humiliated, or I'll have to leave people behind who don't want to step up and come with me, who don't want me to succeed. And that's a very different conversation. Lie number 3 is, I need to feel confident before I start. Really? No, you don't. Confidence is a result, not a prerequisite. Most people don't feel confident the first time they speak publicly, the first time they make a video, the first time they start a business, write a book, launch a YouTube channel, go on a first date. Confidence is built through action, not through waiting and wanting and hoping. Action creates evidence, and evidence creates confidence. Good experiences create confidence. Line number 4 is, they are the reason I'm stuck. And this one can be hard because people really do hurt us, or really can hurt us if we let them. People can betray us, manipulate us, lie to other people about us, abandon us, disappoint us, reject us, ridicule, humiliate, and even intentionally try to harm us, and even intentionally try to shut us up, shut us down, and get us to quit. But even when those things happen, the question becomes, what now? Because eventually your future belongs to you, not to the people who hurt you. Because eventually your people belongs to you, not to the mean girls, not to the covens, the lynch mobs, the group chat, or whomever else that your perpetrators are or were. You don't have to approve of what happened. Probably not a good idea to approve of what happened, but you need to reclaim responsibility for what happens now, for what happens next, for how you respond next, what you do next, to ensure that you don't have a repetition of what you already didn't like. Line number 5 is, if they would just change, I'd be happy. And this one can keep people trapped for decades. If my husband changed, if my wife changed, if my boss changed, if my children changed, if my parents apologized, if society changed, if the government changed, if my haters developed some integrity or even a basic level of conscience, maybe and maybe not. Your happiness is too important to outsource to someone else's personal development journey. Focus on what you can influence, not on what you can't control. Line number 6 is, I don't have a choice. And most of the time this isn't true. What people usually mean is, I don't like my choices. And that's different. You may have difficult choices, painful choices. You may have expensive choices or uncomfortable choices. But recognizing that you do still actually have choices is the beginning of your own personal empowerment. Line number 7 is, one day. One day I'll write the book. One day I'll get healthy. One day I'll leave the toxic relationship. One day I'll start the business. One day I'll travel. I'll have the difficult conversation. I'll apologize for my mistakes. I'll rectify the consequences of my mistakes. One day I'll forgive. One day I'll be happy. And one day is a useless day to put on your calendar because it never arrives. Life happens today. Life happens right now, not one day. What's the big lesson in all of this? Pay attention. None of these things, none of these lies are about circumstances. They're all about perception, and perception shapes behavior, and behavior shapes outcomes, and outcomes shape lives. Outcomes shape your life, my life, our lives. The real question is, which lie have you been repeating? Or plural, which lies have you been repeating? Not to shame yourself, not to beat yourself up, but to become aware, because awareness precedes change. A simple exercise you can do is take out a piece of paper and write down something like, what story am I telling myself that keeps me stuck? Not for anybody else to read, not for anybody else to even necessarily know. This is just for you and your soul, your conscience. And then ask, is this true? Is it actually true? The story I've been telling myself that's been keeping me stuck, is it actually true? It's a yes or a no. And then ask, what would I do differently if I stopped believing it? That question alone can change your life. Your future is not waiting for you to become perfect. It's waiting for you to become honest with yourself and honest with others. Because the moment you identify the lie, you stop being controlled by it. And the moment you stop being controlled by it, you become free to create something better.